all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning and happy Monday to you. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 14th of December. Here's everything that you need to know. New coronavirus infections in India have been hovering around the 30,000 mark for quite a few days now, at a time when the total tally of confirmed cases is heading towards the 1 crore mark. India reported 30,254 new cases in the 24 hours to 8 a.m. yesterday, taking the total tally to over 98.5 lakh. In the top news, violence broke out on Saturday at the Wistron Corporation plant in Karnataka, where iPhones are manufactured, as a large number of workers went on a rampage over issues related to payment of salary, according to police. The police said 132 people have been detained in connection with the incident. In other news, the government is likely to launch the third tranche of the Bharat Bond ETF, the exchange-traded fund that invests in the debt of public sector companies, this financial year itself. Central public sector enterprises have fundraising plans of about 12,000 crore rupees, and the government is thinking of launching the next tranche of the Bharat Bond ETF in a couple of months, according to the PTI. The ETF, remember, only invests in bonds of AAA-rated companies. The EPFO is likely to credit 8.5% interest for the 2019-20 financial year in the Employees' Provident Fund accounts of around 6 crore subscribers in one go by the end of December. The EPFO had earlier decided to split the 8.5% interest into two installments of 8.15% and 0.35% in its trustees' meet headed by Labour Minister Santosh Gangwar. In the automotive space, Maruti Suzuki is looking to re-enter the diesel segment once again next year, as the vertical continues to draw a lot of customers, especially in the high-selling SUV and multi-purpose vehicle segments, as per industry sources. Maruti had, remember, discontinued diesel models from its portfolio with the onset of stricter BS6 emission norms from April this year. In international news, the pound rose after the UK and the European Union said they will continue talking about a trade agreement, keeping hopes for a late deal alive. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen agreed to go the extra mile and keep working on a post-Brexit accord. The duo had earlier said that negotiators had until Sunday to come up with a deal. Now, US equity futures are indicating a positive start to the week, as there is some hope on two fronts. On the one hand, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has formally signed off on vaccinations against COVID-19 to begin as early as today. The US, remember, is the country with the most number of cases and the most fatalities. The head of the country's vaccine drive said that as many as 80% of the country's population could get vaccinated by next summer, putting herd immunity within reach. And the second positive development is the significant progress that has been made on negotiations for a new stimulus deal to fight the economic effects of the virus. Watch out for the announcement of that deal later this week. In the Asia-Pacific region, two of the three early risers in the equity markets were higher by 0.5% when I last checked, while the third was flat. And with that, it's over to Hormuz Fatakia for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Hormuz. How are we looking at the start of the week?
Good morning to you, Alex, and to our listeners as well. Now, it is 6 straight weekly gains for the Sensex and the Nifty, the longest weekly winning run since July this year. Now, analysts believe that the Nifty needs to convincingly cross the mark of 13,600 for the next leg of our move towards 13,750. Now, early takes on the SGX Nifty are suggesting that the index is trading with gains of over 50 points near the mark of 13,590. Let's dive into specific stocks that you should watch out for today, and I'll start off with two nifty companies. First up, Cipla has announced the settlement of its litigation with Celgene Corporation and a wholly owned subsidiary of Bristol Myers Squibb pertaining to the Revlimid patents. Now, some key takeaways from the settlement are: Celgene will provide Cipla a license to Celgene's patents required to manufacture and sell certain volume-limited amounts of lenalidomide in the United States. This will begin on a confidential date after March 2022. The volume of lenalidomide sold by Cipla cannot exceed the certain agreed upon percentages until January the 31st, 2026. The percentages of volumes agreed upon by both the companies are also confidential. Now, Cipla's settlement is not good news for Dr. Reddy's. Brokerage firm MK has revised the net present value for Dr. Reddy's with regards to Revlimid to 330 rupees a share from the earlier 550 rupees a share. So watch out for both these names today. Next up is Power Grid, where the board of directors at a meeting held on Saturday have approved an interim dividend of 5 rupees a share for FY21. The record date for the same has been set at the 8th of January 2021. On to some non-index names, and KEC International is the first one. The company has won multiple orders worth 1,438 crore rupees. The railways business has won orders worth 475 crore. The civil business has won orders worth 383 crore. The transmission and distribution business has won orders worth 362 crore, while the cables business has won orders worth 218 crore rupees. Delta Corp is the next one that will likely see a reaction in today's session. The company has received an in-principle approval from the Goa Investment Promotion and Facilitation Board for setting up an integrated resort. The resort will consist of hotels, a convention center, multiplexes, an electronic casino, a water park, and other facilities. The resort is proposed to be constructed at Pernem in Goa. Some news from the mergers and acquisition space. eClerx has announced that it will acquire 100% stake in Texas-based Eclipse Global Holdings through its wholly owned subsidiary. The acquisition is valued at an enterprise value of $34 million and is expected to be completed in the next 2 weeks. The company said that the acquisition will fully reflect in the company's financials by the fourth quarter of FY21 and that the transaction is anticipated to be EPS accretive. JSPL standalone sales for the month of November were largely flat, while production saw a growth of 15% as compared to last year. Exports have contributed to 21% of the standalone sales in November, according to the company. The company is focusing more on value-added products as the domestic markets are now recovering, according to its managing director, VR Sharma. An update on the IRCTC OFS, the government said that it is expected to garner over 4,300 crore rupees from the two-day offer and is now in compliance with SEBI's minimum public shareholding norms, according to Disinvestment Secretary Tuhin Kanta Pandey, who tweeted this information on Friday. Some other buzzing stocks that I would like to highlight. Apollo Tyres ended at a 52-week high on Friday, ending with gains of over 6%. The stock closed at its highest level since July of 2019. Chambal Fertilizers is the other one that I want to talk about. The stock ended at a record high on Friday with gains of over 8%. The stock has had a 6-day winning streak and has gained close to 20% during this period. And lastly, the second most successful IPO of the year, Burger King will be listing on the bourses today. The issue was the third such issue of 2020, which saw overall subscription figures of over 150 times. To know more about the stocks that will be in focus for today's session, do log into bloombergquint.com and read up on the all you need to know copy. Now with that, I wish you a safe day ahead, and it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Hormuz. And as always, thank you all for listening in. That's all we have for you on this podcast, but remember to check out the website over the course of today for all the latest news and developments. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great start to the week.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.